I'm a professor, so I should be able to talk loud enough for everybody to be able to hear me. Ted asked me to say something about what the connection was, Goshen, GTU, CTNS, etc. Nancy Murphy is back there as our first speaker at the Goshen Conference. The Goshen Conference is something that I hatched out of a long-term desire to see something like this happen. And I'm not even sure, Nancy, how I originally contacted you, but I remember thinking Nancy would be a wonderful person to talk at the first conference, and she graciously accepted. We met each other for the first time at Bluffton College, which is, you mentioned the term that you were, after all, a Protestant. Mm-hmm. Walter Kaufmann in Canada once wrote that Mennonites are neither Protestants nor Catholics. And I will admit that when I am, and Nancy is nodding her head, she understands this completely. When I meet with another group, they say, go with your denominations and sort of get together on the side. I always go with the Catholics. It's gotten me also into some remarkable relationships. But Nancy was our first speaker. It was a venture that I did not know was going to be as successful as it has been. I always walk in a little bit of faith, Nancy, but I didn't have the guarantee at that point. I also remember our president at that point, who was the first non-ordained president that Goshen College has ever had, and also the first woman, who said, this is the beginning of the annual Goshen Conference. I don't know if you remember that, Nancy, or not, but I remember when Shirley said that. And it has gone on. Bob was the speaker at the 5th annual Goshen Conference. Phil was the speaker at the 6th, Phil Hefner, who was here yesterday. Antia Yakalain was at the 3rd conference. Ted will be speaker at the 7th Goshen Conference. The only two people who were not here was George Ellis and Jack Haught, who were also speakers at the Goshen Conference. I am really extremely grateful for what has happened there at our small Mennonite college in Indiana. It's been more than my expectation. I've come to accept that we are an important conference because people tell us this. We keep on moving along. I admittedly have anxieties every year, but I think we're an important conference. We decided very initially to have proceedings. Nancy's name is on the first of the proceedings, and this is the proceedings with George's name. I'm sorry, with Bob's name on it. Thinking Nancy, with Bob's name on it. I apologize, Bob. I'm terribly grateful for your having been speaker. And to sit at the front table with you at that time was a good experience. I really appreciated that. And I did also want to say congratulations for CTNS in 25 years and for 60 years on the planet. We look forward to a long time.
Thank you, Carl.
To say a couple of more words, the Goshen Conference is small. I have officially limited it to 50 people, and that's about what we have each year, but we also have students. Among that number are students. It's one of these conferences that also has students. As I said, I always have some anxiety, but people come out of the woodwork. It's a wonderful experience. It has a slight Mennonite flavor, and we go to an Amish home restaurant for a Saturday night meal, which is an attraction. we have the greatest density of Amish buggies of any place in the country except Lancaster County. Just to say, the proceedings, every Goshen speaker is invited to present her or his own ideas, and she owns or he owns the conference. We refer to Nancy's conference as Nancy's conference. We refer to Bob's conference as Bob's conference, and so on. The speaker will present 3 lectures to encompass her or his ideas and put them in place. And I have felt, and I do say this in the preface, that the speaker brings us to a point that we didn't expect to be every time during the speakers. I remember, Nancy, it's wonderful, Nancy, the night before you were going to deliver that Sunday address, I don't know if you remember coming up to me and saying, Carl, I know what I want to say, but I have no idea how I'm going to say it yet. She did a wonderful job, and of course we were expecting you to edit that. After. And Bob Russell, that's really this is about, I shouldn't keep on pointing to Nancy, although she's in the back row. Bob did a very careful job, and I appreciated, Bob, every bit of time you spent on this, going over our transcripts of everything. The transcripts include also the discussions, which is the main bulk of the conference, and Bob very carefully asked me, and I said, of course, go over all of his answers, which were in detail at the time of the conference. But so you will read, if you get a copy of this publication, you will read Bob's thoughts in detail in response to questions from the floor. I have edited severely the questions to keep them in perspective, but I have not touched Bob's words on this. The flavor, I hope, of the conference is really there. Bob would be able to say a yes or no on that, but he's seen the details of the transcripts, and I just am very thankful for your presentation, and I'm happy to be here to launch this with you, Bob, and the gratitude of Goshen College for what you've done, and we look forward, Ted, to your participation in this next year.
Thanks, Charlie.